And I would love to see your beautiful faces. Makes it more fun for me. So welcome everyone. This is day 2 of our 2-day retreat. It's a short and sweet retreat. And I am excited to be here. I want to see everyone's faces. Oh, so awesome. I just put you on gallery so I could see all of you. Beautiful, beautiful. So if you happen to miss yesterday's day 1, I highly, highly recommend to go back and do day 1, okay? Because this is a 2-part series, right? We have day 1, we have day 2, and they build on each other, okay? And so if you haven't, you can find it on YouTube. So go ahead and you can go to my YouTube channel and watch that, and be sure to subscribe. Very important, so you can get all the goodies, all the goodies. So I am so impressed with all of you. Yesterday, we posted our artwork into the Creative Soul Online Retreat group, and all of you posted in the right place. So proud of you. It's always someone that doesn't follow directions, but you guys did. I'm so proud of you. And it was so fun to see everyone's work, right? Did you guys enjoy seeing everyone's work? And I'm curious, did you notice a theme or a consistency that happened? Did you guys see something that was showing up? I'm curious. You can go ahead and put that in the chat. What did you notice from yesterday? Any observations? You see any similarities? We have nature and animals, love and support. I love that. Yes, Jen, there was lots of love and support, lots of colors, flow, water, the earth element, grass, barefoot, representing that root chakra. I saw some people using the chakras in their work, hearts and oceans and circles. Yes, lots of nature, wanting growth, inner children. Margarita wrote, yes, the inner child. I noticed that at first. Some people had mentioned it, that they felt like they were tapping into their inner child. And this work does that, right? It's like your inner child wants to come out and play. So you are giving it the opportunity to do that. And someone actually wrote today that they felt like they tapped into it and they were able to just continue playing all day. How amazing is that, right? It's just like, you tap into it and then it just is kind of like this wellspring of fun and creativity. Christina says, so fulfilling. It all had a female figure, pretty much at the center, lots of circles and waves. Yes. So we were focusing on the body yesterday, right? I really wanted you to put yourself in the image because I feel like that's how you can connect to your desires and to yourself, right? So yesterday was all about focusing on that particular aspect. And then today, what we're going to be learning about is those blocks and limiting beliefs. And we're also going to be connecting it to our body again, right? Because it's not always in our mind. I did talk about yesterday that like our mind is so powerful. It is. But so is our body. And a lot of those limiting beliefs, a lot of our blocks get trapped in our body. And it's our job to figure out, where is it in our body? Where is it being stored? Where is this energy feeling stuck or imbalanced? And then having many tools, right? Art is one, but having many tools in order to get balanced. Because like I said yesterday, we are human and we are not immune to pain. Like we are, part of being human is to experience messy, sucky, yucky things. And it's just part of life. And it actually makes life really beautiful because we are resilient and we can learn, different ways to manage, to regulate our emotions. And that's why we're here, right? Oh my goodness, we have such a good crowd today. Amazing. All right. So let's keep on going. Let's see. So yesterday our card was the root chakra, the elephant. And we're going to talk more about symbols today. Would you guys like for me to pull another card today and see what we get? Okay, I will. So just to let you know, the root chakra, this is where a lot of creatives get stuck, especially in those lower chakras. It's the root, sacral, and solar. We're going to talk more about the chakras today. And so this is about structure. So it's really important to have structure because that's what's going to provide that balance so that you can build upon it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. Oh, they're upside down. I'm going to shuffle the deck. Let's see what wants to come through. If it's healing or manifesting. Oh, this is a throat chakra card. And it's called the Mirror. All right. So it says mirror. Everyone in life is a mirror. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Be the energy you wish to attract. Okay. So this is, I would say this is kind of like a deep card because a lot of times when we project or we place judgment on something, we have to look at ourselves and be like, why are we doing this? Why am I, projecting this judgment, or why do I have an issue with this person or something? So if we can look at ourselves and saying, where do I need support or healing in that area? That's where the balance becomes. So I'm going to give you some stories today of like how this mirror idea has come into effect in my life and in my own healing as well, because it is really, really powerful work when we are triggered. So triggers are a good thing. I know we don't like them because they make us feel very uncomfortable, bothered, frustrated. But when that happens, that's that sign. That's a sign to say, hey, what's going on inside me that needs to be balanced? Okay. So don't take it as like a negative. Take it as of, how can I discover a little bit more about myself? Okay. Oh, I'm so happy this resonates with you, Janice. I would love to know why. Becca says, that's so funny because I got so irritated with her friends today, but then realized I do the same thing. Yep, it is a mirror. It's so funny how that works. And Dawn said she just pulled that same card before coming to the meeting. So obviously we need to hear this, right? It's coming up for us. All right, so you guys want to hear who is the winner from yesterday for the Creative Soul Society membership? Yes. Okay. Let me tell you, it was so hard to decide. Like, I honestly, everyone is a winner in my eyes because you all participated, you showed up and you supported each other. And I would love for you all to be a member of the Creative Soul Society membership. So it was very hard to decide. I literally had to just close my eyes and I just went like this. And that's how I picked, literally, because you guys all did such a good job. The winner is, and I want to share what they're winning because that's important too. The winner is Kimberly Coran Taylor. I don't know if you were here or not, Kimberly, but you are the winner. And I'm going to show you what you won. I will share my screen. Google Chrome. So congratulations, you won a 1-year membership to the Creative Soul Society. Very exciting. You will be a part of our meetups. So we meet up a couple times a month where we are making art about healing and also about manifesting and learning new techniques. So it's so funny. I showed this yesterday to all of you, and I got some of my members emailing me last night saying, why when I logged in, it doesn't look like your screen? And I'm like, I haven't added you yet. So just so you know, the members that are here, I will be adding you in the next 2 days. And you'll have access to all the goodness here. So like when you click on to like one of these, we do a lot of chakra work as well. We're about ready to start our next series, but every year that we do this, we do it a little bit differently. Okay, so last year we did it all about Oracle cards so that you can make your own Oracle deck. Like I had made an Oracle deck. The year before that, we did about specific painting symbols from the chakras. We're going to talk about that today, how those symbols are healing for you. So we will do an overview of that today. So all you do is you go in here and you get to have that access to all these past recordings. really exciting stuff. So I'm happy to get you guys access to this new site, and so that you can go back if you missed anything. Very exciting stuff. And so this year we're going to be starting, I think, in May, of going through the chakras again. So we'll focus each month on a new chakra with a different theme around it. And it's fun about the chakras is because I always feel that it's like a portal that you go into, and the more that you learn about it, and it's a framework that makes sense in my head. And the more that I learn about it, the more I get, I feel more balanced because I can practice the tools that go with it. Marta says she feels like a winner already. You are a winner. We're all winners here. That's so funny. Oh, Kim says she's here. Yay. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to be doing, you can go ahead and get your stuff together. We'll just be using, if you have an art journal, like I said, I love putting the artwork in the journal. So you can just grab your journal. I'm going to be doing it on a board so that you all can see, because sometimes it's hard to see in my own journal. If you have, markers, colored pencils, anything along those lines, you're welcome to grab some tea or a yummy beverage. I got my tea. So get comfortable, put a sign on your door. I put a sign on my door so you don't have distractions. Okay, so we'll be together for the next hour, and we'll be creating some art and learning about each other. Marta says, what days and times do you meet? We usually meet on the weekends. Sometimes it's in the mornings, sometimes in the afternoons. Amy says, I love our monthly membership group. It's always very fulfilling and positive community and connection. Oh, we're so happy you're a part of it, Amy. Beautiful. And Becca asks, how much is the membership? It is $33 a month. It is being raised to $37. Just haven't done it on the back end. So $33 if you register now. For those of you who have been members for the past 2.5 years, your membership rate stays the same. Okay, so just let you know that it doesn't, when I do raise it, it always stays the same. So if you jump in, and you can cancel anytime, which is also nice as well. So yeah, so you're welcome to join us. And if you want more info, Becca, if you could put the link on there. Perfect. Thank you, Becca. She put the link. If you'd like to check it out while we're working today, you are welcome to do that. We'd love to have you. It's always fun to see the creatives, and we talk more in the group because they're smaller groups. All right, so let's talk about duality. A little bit about duality. Is so funny. I was just looking, I was scrolling through Instagram, and I love to follow people who do like astrology and stuff like that. And so I found out like tomorrow, March 20th, is actually the equinox. And that means that it's equal hours of sunlight and daylight. I was like, how cool. It's like duality, right? It's dark and this light. And that's pretty much what we're doing today. Yesterday we were looking at what our desires are. Like we have these hopes, these dreams, and maybe we're already stepping into our desire for like what we want, right? Which is beautiful, stepping into that energy. But there's always this other part that is kind of like a work in progress, or where we're stuck, or where we need that healing. Okay. And so that's what that duality. But when you can honor both sides, that's where the harmony comes in. Okay. That's when I was talking about like the emotional regulation, and then using your coping skills and things like that. So that's where we want to be. Because if you're always just looking at the light side, just always saying positive, looking at like only positive things, it's called spiritual bypassing, meaning that, you're not honoring what is the lessons that need to be learned, or the parts of yourself that do need healing. Okay. So it's just honoring the yuckiness too, or that feeling that is hard, or the traumas that we're going through. Okay. And we all go through them. There's always different parts of our lives that they come up, and we have to do that healing work. Okay. So for today, we will get out your work. We're going to do a little drawing exercise together to make it. I'm going to have my little drawing thing here. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing more of a review of the chakras. So those of you who know about the chakras, that's great. But we're going to be doing another like after we do the review, there's going to be another drawing exercise that correlates with going over these chakra work. Okay. Someone wrote, I'm struggling with trying to be calm and motivated without stressors. Okay. So part of that is learning how the healing happens when we learn how to calm our nervous system. Okay. So that's why like coping skills, like having a variety of coping skills is important. Okay. And that is different for everyone. And you got to find different ones to put in your toolbox. Okay. So it's like, yes, stressors can happen all around, but this internal world is like you're taking care of that. So, we're looking at like going back to that root chakra is finding that structure, your routine of like what's going to regulate your nervous system. For me, I love meditating. I love writing. I love going outside in nature. And so, it's something like a daily practice of taking care of yourself to regulate your nervous system. And it's really, really important. So we're going to be talking about that today as we go through each of the chakras. I'm going to be taking information from this book because this book is based on the chakras. So this is my latest book. And there's a chart in here that I'm going to be referring to. I'm going to just be talking about it. And we're going to be looking at each of the chakras. And we're going to be relating it to our body. We're actually going to be doing a drawing similar to this. You can do a person meditating, or I'm going to just show you again how to draw the figure, like a block figure that we did yesterday. And I'm going to show each of the chakras. And on one side, I'll tell you what it's about and then what it feels like when it's balanced versus imbalanced. Okay. So you have to be honest with yourself. Okay, where am I struggling? Right. And then you say, okay, well, where is this located in my body? Okay. Because our bodies are these vessels of energy. Right. And so when we get imbalanced, it's so important to connect with the body so that you could say, okay, this is where I'm holding it. And these are the things that I can do to balance it. And then, wow, it's amazing. I've done it for myself and I've done it for other people of where they're being able to get balanced and then see the different ripple effects in their life. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and what we're going to do is we're going to draw out our figure. Again, you guys are the artists here. You can draw out your figure however you want it to be and as creative as you want it to be. In this picture, I had someone meditating, which is pretty fun, but I'm going to go ahead and just draw the circle, the square for the neck, and drawing the body. I'm doing a very elementary, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong. Remember, we're not judging here. This is about being expressive and learning, right? Learning how to use the art as a tool for healing and for manifest. So here is this body. And you can change it up, make it more like a figure, make it more feminine if you like, whatever you feel like doing. Okay. So on one side, we're going to be writing about each one of these chakras and then what it feels like. Okay. So we're talking about healing today. So I'm not going to talk too much about the manifesting because you can use the chakras for manifesting. That's bringing that energy from source and then ways to bring it down. But we're talking about healing. So the energy for healing is actually going from the root up. Okay. So when we talk about that root chakra, we're going to put the root here. And the color frequency is red. So I just made like a little red. So you could put your color frequency for red there. Okay. And if we feel imbalanced in the root chakra, this is more of, if you feel balanced, you feel grounded, you feel secure, safe. You have the structure that I was talking about with the elephant, a self-care practice. You have stability, you feel balanced with your family, your home. This is like basic needs stuff, right? This is like, we need those things. We need to be connected to our body so that we can build on everything else, right? So even though we're going to be looking at each one and you might need balancing in more than one, that's totally normal, but I'm going to ask you to pick one in a little bit. of which one you want to focus on. So that root. So when you feel balanced in that area, you're going to feel good. And you're definitely going to feel good because you're going to feel strong and safe, right? And money is related to this one, and it's also related to the sacral, because we need money to get our basic needs, right? So what happens? So I'm going to say safe and secure. So what happens if we don't? So I'll put this over here, balanced and imbalanced. Okay, so the imbalanced is the opposite, right? Of feeling insecure, right? Feeling scared, fearful. Anxiety is a big one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put anxious, fearful, right? So it's like living in that fight or flight phase. So a lot of times if we have a lot of past trauma, especially complex traumas, that's where, you know, a lot of these clients that I've worked with, they get kind of stuck in that root chakra, right? Because the home environment wasn't stable. They weren't able to learn how to regulate their nervous system. So they have to learn, you know, it now, right? So this is why it's important to know, like, where's that energy getting like stuck in your body, right? So the ways to balance this chakra, the root chakra, is nature, right? Nature is so grounding, right? Because the element that goes with the root chakra is the earth. Okay. And we did see that in a lot of the drawings yesterday. And a lot of times when we tap into like what our desires are, and even our own art, we will intuitively pick things that are going to be healing for us. And I mentioned this is because yesterday I told you a story about, there was that time in my life when I was going through complete burnout, when I was like a people pleaser and I wasn't taking care of myself. And I was having very high anxiety. I had at that time, I had decorated my home in red. I had a red rug, red pillows, red curtains. Like my whole living room, I had picked the color red. And you know, this was a time when I was getting back into the chakras. I used to love the chakras, like in when I was in college and going to yoga classes and stuff. But I was like really seeing like my clients' work and how the colors they were picking were resonating with the certain frequency of the colors of the chakras. So I realized that, wow, I was intuitively picking that color because I needed healing in that area. So if you need healing in one of these areas, you should wear that color. Okay. You should bring that color to you into your life. Okay. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? Like, is this resonating with you? Or does it feel too out there? I love it because it makes sense for me. And I see it in my clients' work. Okay. I'm getting a thumbs up. I love it. Okay, good. It is resonating. Okay, perfect. I'm so happy that I'm connecting with you, because I do believe it's a framework that is in okay. May is like not May. Okay. So you might be something totally new for you, but it's just a framework. It's just a structure. It's been around for thousands of years. And it's just, I think it's really cool of how we can use it into our own life, because we are energy. Okay. And this is just talking about energy and color frequencies and looking at our body. And our body, we need to listen to our body, especially when we make big decisions. I listen to my body when I need to make a big decision. I say, you know, do I want to work with this person, or do I want to take the certain course? I listen, I'm like, is my body leaning in? You know, do I go like this? Okay, and that means it's a yes. Because sometimes my mind, you know, wants to like tell me I can't do this, but if my body is saying yes, and I'm like, yes. So this is important to listen to your body. Your body holds wisdom. Okay. Okay, so that's the root. Let's move on up. Let's go to the sacral. So this is the color orange. I'm going to put it, that's moving on up. This is like right below the navel. So the root is like the legs, the feet. It's like what's grounding us, right? The sacral is that, it's like that womb space. It's like looking at, it's a container, right? It's a holder of our emotions. right? So the sacral chakra is actually related to the element is water. So for me, I love being around the ocean. It's very cleansing and healing for me. Okay. So what does it feel like when you have a balanced sacral chakra? That's joy. So it's looking at fun, playfulness, right? So when you think of joy, you want to like move your hips, right? So like dancing. So it's looking at that playfulness of yourself. If it is imbalanced, it is rigid, right? It's rigid and it feels guilty for things. Guilt is like the killer of pleasure, right? So this is all about pleasure and joy, right? And then if it's imbalance, the guilt will come over. And guilt can be related about not allowing yourself to play, not allowing yourself to have something that you want to enjoy. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep going up. The next one. Oh, and so how do you balance this? Again, giving yourself that opportunity. I love that people yesterday, like I saw in the comments, like, is waking my inner child, allowing it to come out and play. That's what this is about, like giving yourself that time to do things that are important to you. The next one is the solar plexus, going up the body. And the solar, the energy frequency is yellow, and it's related to the sun. Okay, and related to fire. It's a fire element. Okay. And this one, if it is in balance, you will feel confident. You will know your self-worth. You'll be a leader, and you'll have your own power, your power with purpose. Okay. And if it's imbalanced, you will struggle with your boundaries. You'll struggle with control issues. Anger is a really big one for the solar plexus. So you could literally like feel it in your stomach, like, so it's like right above the navel. And I'll just give you an example. I remember there was this one time I was working with this person, another colleague, and she was very controlling. And she actually didn't like my style or what I was doing. And I remember she would like just kind of put me down, and it was like such control issues. And I was like, she was triggering me way big time. And I could feel it in my stomach. I was like, I felt like swords were hitting. I was like, what is up with this lady? And it was my own healing that needed to happen. Was I needed to have boundaries. I needed to learn how to deal with my own power and control issues, because I could be really controlling as well, and my own self-esteem and self-worth, and knowing my power and how to protect myself and my boundaries. Okay, so when things come up and you feel it in your body, you got to listen to your body, right? Okay, moving on up. I haven't looked at the comments, and I know there's a lot of comments. Oh, yep. Human design is very, very similar. Okay, what if you need to balance more than one chakra? That's totally normal to be able to balance. Usually, as creatives, I've met with a lot of you, and you need to balance these lower ones, because we like to live in this idea space up here in these higher chakras. And we's like, how do we get these ideas down to earth? How do we bring this like manifestation? How do we do? And we do it by grounding ourselves, by being able to step in our power, to believe in ourselves. So a lot of times it's our own self-doubt, right? That's that solar plexus. And being able to like have more fun, like things like that in our life, giving ourselves permission is where we need to work. And what we're going to do, we're going to be picking symbols to figure out which one we're going to be doing artwork about today. So you are going to be able to just kind of get an idea about that, about the symbols. Oh, Rebecca says yellow. Jennifer's already saying yellow. What colors for the solar plexus? Yellow. Oh, okay. So yeah, so just start to think about, where do I need balancing? Where am I getting stuck? Okay. Next up is the heart space. And the heart one is all about connection, especially with relationships, right? Feeling peace. The element for this one is air. And when it's imbalanced, it's usually imbalanced because of grief. Like if you lost someone or a loved, like something that you love, like an animal or person. So it's blocked by grief. It's blocked by resentment, or like someone has wronged you and you weren't able to forgive them. Or feeling of like a disconnection. Okay. That's in that heart area. Just going back to showing you how these are interconnected. Remember I had yesterday, I talked about how I was, the heart area is the color green. Okay. So yesterday I had talked about being a people pleaser, right? So also when I was looking at my own self-worth, I was looking for outside validation. That's why I would people please. And I didn't have that connection. So I actually went and saw our therapist and I was like, oh, that's why I'm doing all these things and not taking care of myself. So it ends up, relating to that heart on how they're interconnected is that I'm looking for my own self-worth, but it means I needed to balance my solar plexus, but I ended up being like this bleeding heart, almost like giving away so much, giving away everything in my heart. Right? Instead of having boundaries and saying, I need to take care of myself first, right? And it all interrelates. Okay. So if you don't take care of one, it'll actually imbalance the rest too. Sadie says she needs to work on 5, and that's okay. That's okay. We could just pick one today. What is the element for the solar plexus? So it is fire. And so you can think of like the sun, because it's about transformation. This is all about transformational energy. When you think of fire, it burns down forest so it can transform into like new growth, right? The fire, it's digestion. Your digestion breaks down food so you can get energy. So that you can kind of see that connection. Okay, moving on up to the throat. I got my little throat turquoise here for communication. So the throat one is the color turquoise. Got my turquoise nails today. And this one, I actually did a whole series like a couple years ago, all about turquoise, because I really did wanted to express myself. I really wanted to like be more comfortable expressing myself, right? So I brought that color intentionally into my paintings. So this is, if it's balanced, that throat chakra. So this is about sound. So it's also about, speaking your truth, but also being able to take the time to listen. There's a balance there, right? So if it's balanced, when you speak, you are heard and you can communicate easily, like the right words come at the right time, right? So this is about communicating easily. If it's imbalanced, then obviously you're not going to feel heard. You're not going to feel heard. And you could be an over speaker. Have you ever hung out with someone, and I know someone like this, where they just talk, and they ask you a question and then you go to answer it and they talk right over you. And like, you just asked me a question and I couldn't even get in to like answer the question. That means it's spinning too fast, because the chakras are spinning wheels, right? If it's spinning too fast, that's an imbalance, right? So there's like, they speak too much, they don't have time to listen, right? If it's spinning too slow, then that means that you're not being heard, that you don't have that courage to speak up, to share your truth. Okay. So which element is the throat? So the throat is about sound. So we're talking like the connection right here, like the ears, the throat, speaking, right? About self-expression. Okay. Moving on up. The third eye right here, one of my favorite ones to do. It's right here. It's an indigo color. So the indigo, we'll put third eye here. The element is light. Ooh, I like to do rainbows because I just think rainbows are freaking cool. But it's all about the light, right? When the light hits the water in a certain way, it makes the rainbow. So the third eye. So the third eye is all about listening to your intuition. Okay. It's about your insight. So when you are balanced in your third eye chakra, you can, you'll have dreams, you'll have insight, you'll have some vision for your future. You can imagine things happening, like you could see things. When it's imbalanced, you don't trust yourself. You don't trust your judgment, right? You're like question yourself, those type of things. So it's like a separation. So everything in life is connected, but you feel like there's like a separation and you don't trust your like gut feeling, basically. And it's also about like trusting the universe. So you get these ideas, you get these visions, get these insights, and it's trusting that like this higher intelligence has the answers, right? And trusting that that's the right, even though if you don't see it, right? So being doubtful. Thank you, Fatima. Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, and there's a lot more chakras in this, but I'm just going over the 7 like basic ones. So this is like the third eye is the third eye goes to the crown, and the color frequency around this one is, it could be violet, which I have purple here. It could be white. It could be gold. Okay. It's on the crown of the head. And the element that it's related to is thought. Okay. So the crown, and we're going to put thought. Okay. So when it is balanced, you are going to have that wisdom. You're going to feel bliss, like you believe in miracles and you see the miracles, that every day is a miracle, right? Like you feel connected to the divine. You feel connected to yourself. You feel like you're on purpose, on track. And usually when it's balanced in that crown, you're going to have that balance all the way through. Okay. Because it's just like a stream. It's like an energy stream going through here. The element for the crown is thought, like your thoughts, right? So if it's imbalanced and the thoughts, you're going to experience like depression, right? You're going to have those limiting beliefs that are taking over. The thing with limiting beliefs is that a lot of times they're in our unconscious that we are not aware of. That's why it's so important to have someone to reflect on your thoughts, to show you in a supportive way, to say, hey, did you know you repeated this? Or did you realize that this thinking is leading you to make these certain actions, or it's leading you to feel this certain way, right? Because our thoughts do have power, right? So that's why it's important to have support. So someone said insecurity. So yeah, insecurity would probably go along with that third eye. What was the element? The element for the third eye is light. So each one of these has a certain element related to the earth around us. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you, this is a big question here, because for those of you who are just learning about this, and for those of you who have knowledge about it, where do you feel you are right now as far as like your energy, if it were to be imbalanced? And I promise you, we can get balanced and imbalanced within a day. Every time a hurricane comes here to Miami, Florida, let me tell you, my root chakra is like I feel not safe. I feel very anxious, right? Puts me into that, oh my goodness, I go scurrying for food, like I don't need it anymore, but I thought, but like, it puts you into that fight or flight, and to that root chakra, right? So every day can be something different. So we might need more than one chakra balanced. Okay, Samantha says her heart. Becca says she needs to work on them all. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to just pick one today. so that, or if you want to pick more than one, you can. So Aaron says the root. Okay, so I'm just going to give you an example. If you were to pick the root chakra, what did I mention about to balance it? It is the earth, right? So I'm just going to ask you for your next image, because you can get a new journal page, open it up to a brand new page and say, and just thinking about your desire, right? Think about your desire from yesterday. And then thinking about what needs to be healed. We're making this connection in your body is what healing symbol can I create today to help me find that balance? Okay. So I can give you some examples of the chakra symbols, but you could also make up your own. That's what's so beautiful about art and visual vocabulary and visual language. You could have your own symbol that is important to you. Okay. So like, for example, I have my key necklace on, right? So when I started my business, the key was my symbol about opening mind, body, and spirit, right? Like mind, body, and soul. And that was important to me, right? Could I relate it to one of these chakras? Yes, because I definitely needed to work on my solar plexus chakra when I was opening my business. So when you, especially when you open a business, it will rock your chakras. Let me tell you, it will like say, hey, how do you feel? You believe in yourself, what's your self-worth? How are you handling money? That's that root, that go back to the root chakra. So, you could make up your own symbol of saying, this is how I'm going to deal with these aspects. This is where I need healing. Okay. Make up your own, or you can use the elements. So I'll just kind of give you briefly, we go a lot deeper into this in the Creative Soul Society membership, because we just do a chakra a month where we just focus on one and make art about it. But I'm just asking you to pick one today. A lot of people are saying the throat. Okay. The throat chakra, about self-expression, right? Being able to express your needs, being able to express your desires. I told you I did a whole blue series about because I wanted to express my artwork or express my services to the world. So I was bringing that blue color in. So we'll kind of go quickly through them and you can pick what you'd like. So going back to the root, you can look at the earth. You could literally just draw an earth today, or you could, be creative, put yourself on the earth. Roots, being in nature, trees, plants, things along those lines. Terry says, being able to know what to do, what chakra would it be? That's listening to your intuition. Yeah, that is your third eye chakra, right? So third eye is the eye. I love making eyes for my third eye chakra. I have lots of artwork. I'm looking at one over there, but I just can't reach it. It's of an eye. I literally just did an eye. So I'm just asking you to just pick one today, or you can pick multiple of an eye. It could be, let's go to your sacral. So the sacral is about bringing in that joy, right? Letting go of that guilt. And water element. So you could do the ocean, right? You could do the moon. The moon is actually a part of the sacral chakra, having fun. The solar plexus, I talked about fire. Maybe you're feeling angry in some way. It could be the sun. It's also just like a positive thing too. It doesn't have to be like a negative. Standing in your power. It's also called the lustrous gem. So you could use like a gem. And what does your power look like for you? You could, like I say, I used my key because that feels powerful. Like I'm unlocking something because I needed to work on that. It's a symbol for me, right? And I wear it every day. So I remind myself, standing in my power. Because remember, if I didn't do this work on myself, I wouldn't be here today to offer it for you. Okay. So this is why it's important to do the work for yourself, do the work so that you can stand up and have that ripple effect, right? And so think of the symbols that are important to you. Okay. And there's no right or wrong. You can't pick a wrong one, but it is a visual language and it's a reminder for you. So we talked about the solar plexus, talked about the heart. The heart is it's air element, right? So what comes with air? Well, birds are a symbol for the heart chakra. You could use the universal symbol of the heart. You could use the anatomical heart. I did a total series about anatomical hearts and they're blooming. They're like healing my heart. The throat, about speaking. What is it that you want to speak? What do you want to tell yourself? I was thinking about those affirmations that we did yesterday, put them in there. That's, speaking your truth. right? And what symbol would you like to speak your truth? So it goes with that sound. Let me see if I can give you a couple symbols for that too. Okay, so throat chakra symbols, there's a bull, a wolf, a whale, birds. I love that animal totems are really powerful symbols as well. Okay, going to that third eye chakra, like I said, you could do an eye, you could do an owl. Oops, owl for wisdom, of connecting to your inner wisdom. I love it. Sadie says it's funny that she notices how she incorporated a lot of these in the piece from day one. It's so true. It is so powerful. From music notes for my throat chakra. Yeah, it's definitely, you'll start to see it in your own art. I see it in my clients' work all the time. And this is why I like to bring it up, because it's all interconnected, right? Even like the colors that you use. I know, color is very personal. It could be different for everyone, of like, your anger could be black, or it could be red, or it could be some other color. But there is like a universal language that does show up, that you'll see that most people will pick certain colors for certain emotions. Okay, so I talked about the third eye. The Om symbol is another one that you could use for the third eye. And then the crown. So the crown is cool. The crown is, and in my book, I do have drawings of different chakras and how you can use them. So the crown is about, like I said, connecting to source energy, and mandalas are really powerful because they put you into a meditative state as you create them. So if you'd like to create a mandala, if you're working with that crown chakra energy, feeling connected, you could also, here's a mandala that I did in the book. So you can kind of see what a mandala looks like. You could do sacred geometry. We actually did in the Creative Soul Society membership, Whitney Freya did a art exercise with us like a week ago, and we did the flower of life with her. So that's sacred geometry. That's again with that crown chakra. The lotus flower is very powerful, also connected with the crown chakra. So it's called the 1,000-petaled lotus. If you wanted to make a 1,000-petaled lotus, or you could just make a lotus. I'd love to do chakra sets. Actually, I have one over here. I'm going to just grab it really quick, just to give you an idea. Okay, so I like to make these sets. These are fun. I sell these, but I also, I just make them for myself, and I use them for my own healing and manifesting. So if you could see, so they're little 4x4s, and I just put them on wood. And then I make my own symbols, or I use the symbols for the chakras, right? So I'll just give you an example and I did this in the Creative Soul Society membership. This is the sacred geometry for divinely guided, for the crown. This was, like I told you, I like to use the rainbows for the third eye. I put the eye in there. It says, what you seek is seeking you. I put the key in this one because I told you the key is like one of my personal symbols. My gifts fully expressed. So telling people about my services and what I offer. This is one of my birds. This is for the heart chakra. I use the yellow for thriving community, but I also used bees because I always see the bees as in the honeycombs. I love the hexagons in my artwork. So I use that for the solar plexus because I feel like there's power in community. And then moving to, this is using the sacral chakra with the moon. I think it was an orange moon or blood moon or one of those moons when I did this. And then use the water element, right? And then last but not least is that root chakra of, I did a figure, I did the earth and rooted down, and I put the universe provides. So just trusting that the universe provides. Okay, so I share with that as inspiration. Like these are things that you could do with the chakras, but it is really powerful when you use it for healing and you use it for manifesting. And it's so funny, like when I do the art shows where I'm in community and I'll have these sets out, and it's the person who will resonate with that. It's always the right person. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm working on this particular thing. They're like, I need this in my life. So it's so neat how interconnected we are. And there's certain symbols that other people will resonate with as well. So you can use it. You can actually create a set like we do. We do that in the Creative Soul Society, or you can just focus on one and put that symbol up somewhere. So I encourage you, for what you create today, you know, even if it's in your journal, you can put it up somewhere for healing, right? And just so it's a visual reminder. It's like your symbol. Oh, good. I'm glad that resonates with you. And Jennifer says, I'm with others. I'm seeing lots of these symbols in my pieces from yesterday. Since in the end, I did the one during the session, and then the creativity I went on to do later in the day. Okay. Okay. Does anyone else have any more? Oh, okay. So do butterflies fit somewhere in the chakras? Yeah, I've actually used the butterfly because it's such a beautiful metaphor of like the metamorphosis, right? I love the idea that it changes. So I've used the butterfly in my solar plexus before. Like I did like a yellow butterfly to represent that, like I'm changing, I'm coming into my power, that type of thing. I've also used it or seen with my clients as well. They've used the butterfly to like the blue butterfly for self-expression of being able to express their needs, their wants, that type of thing. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you can use the symbols that are provided, that are associated, and you can Google symbols, that type of thing for the chakras, or you can make up your own. You give it meaning no matter what. This is just like a framework of like, where is it in your body? What's that energy? Because that's why it's important to connect with it. Okay, so one person wrote, all of this is helpful. I've noticed it's more from the yellow down to the red is what I need to work on the most. Yep. That's really, really popular, especially as creatives. We need to, work on our root, the sacral, the solar. It will help support the rest to bring all those ideas down when you get to the manifesting. Because what happens when you get into balance, when you get in that frequency of balance, remember, we can get unbalanced at any time, but when we get into that frequency of being balanced, that's why it's important to regulate your emotions and your nervous system. That's when the manifesting can occur. That's where it becomes very easily, to manifest. That's when that energy is flowing and you feel like you're in the flow, like you'll literally feel that way. That's that flow state, right? Being in the present moment, being on purpose, speaking your truth, right? Your desires come to you easily. That's that energy. Yeah. So a lot of the work that I do is I do the online art therapy, services, and then I do a thriving creative course as well. It's like for manifesting your creative business. And what I find is the reason that I created that second part of manifesting your creative business is that a lot of the creatives, like when they do the healing work, that's when they're ready to show up and then share their gifts with their other people, right? Like whether they want to do art healing groups or if they want to be like some art coach or whatever the kind of facilitator they want to do, but they can use their own experiences. But it's important to do the healing work first so that you are in that space to hold it for others, right? All right. All right. So I would love to see if there is someone available to just share where you're at. I know you might not be done with the drawing part. I've talked a lot during this time, but maybe if somebody like wants to raise their hand and kind of share, and be brave enough to share their piece and where they need to work on and how it relates to their life. That's the key component, right? Okay, DC, would you be able to put your camera on?
I will show you. Oh no, a different thing.
Oh my goodness, are you 10 years old?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love it.
Sorry,
Mom
some
had posted
other
in
thing that I did splattered on the paint thing that I was doing.
That's amazing. That's so cool. And did you get to pick a healing symbol? Oh,
Yes, it's the moon inside an eye.
oh my God, it's so amazing. You are so lucky that you have a cool mom to bring you to this because they should teach this in school.
Thank you.
Yay, DC. I am so proud of you. Thank you for sharing your beautiful work and being brave. You keep going.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Oh, that just made my heart really happy. That's awesome.
Bye.
Bye. See you later. All right, Chelsea, I'm going to have you go next.
Hey.
Hi.
All right. So I decided to focus on the throat and I'm making a little bird. Let me turn my light on, maybe easier to see. I'm gonna color it in with like hues of like teal and blue. Before you started talking about some of like pre-established like symbols, I think you were talking about the heart for the bird right when I was like sketching this out. I was like, oh, I connected it with the throat because for me, I thought of like how birds sing and like how vocal and playful they are. I mentioned in the last session that I'm in grad school in my last semester, so I'm writing my thesis and I present on it in 2 weeks. So I really need my throat to get around clearly and be balanced so I can make it through to the end.
You can, and it is connected because like what makes your heart sing, right? So it's kind
Oh,
of like,
yeah.
like being able to connect that heart to come through like your throat. And when you present, when I remember presenting my thesis and how I remember like shaking, I was so scared. My throat was shaking, but I held a stone. And I remember my professor was amazing. Well, I feel like crying. I remember she told me, that bring a lucky charm, just bring a lucky charm and then you'll get through it. And I just remember it was so tough.
Yeah. I've been definitely like overwhelmed and feeling all types of emotion. I had to work through some imposter syndrome and self-doubt. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. And I feel so touched by that little piece that you just shared because I relate so much. And I am a crystal girl, so I will bring a little crystal with me. I think that's a great idea.
We wish you the best of luck. You're going to do amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. We need more light workers out there. It's so important. Awesome. Oh my God, Heather, I haven't seen you in a million years. I'm going to add a spotlight. Hi, Heather.
Hi. Oh, did I unmute myself? Cool.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So here's my drawing here. And I focused on the root and then the third eye and then the crown. And Leah, we've worked a lot together about with my root chakra, how that really needs a lot of healing. And a symbol that came to me when you talked about the color red was just a red apple and how so much fruit can come from our roots. And and then I drew an eye with the universe inside of it because I just love that idea of connecting with the universe through our third eye and our knowing. And then the crown chakra, just something that I'm starting to I think explore more and realize like where that light really shows up in us. So that is where I am at. And
beautiful. I love all of it. So good to see you again.
Great to see you too.
Wonderful. This makes me happy. You guys are all making me happy. All right, how about Bev? I'm not sure if that's you or a picture. Would you be able to share? Bev McGarry? Okay, so I will pick Dawn. How about Dawn? Add spotlight. Okay. Hi, Dawn. Oh, can you unmute yourself if you don't mind? Then we can hear you.
Unmute. There I go. Okay. So I have this picture of myself, as a little girl, and I tried to draw that or paint rather that same thing, but I'm getting ready to write a book, and my throat chakra, I feel like this core wound about, being cut off mid-sentence and not being heard. And I have so much to say, but there's this big, huge core wound that just needs massive healing. And, my symbol for the year is whale. So I love that you touched on the whale, but that's kind of me embracing all of the chakras, but really in flow with just blue, because that's the one that I need the most healing and the most work. And that's why I'm here today. So thank you for creating this lovely space for all of us.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah. And then keep making some art about that and bringing that color into your world. It's so powerful of how you can make that shift and you can start to feel it in your body.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge, you can see my books are color coordinated. So colors are a huge part of my world and just make me feel alive.
Awesome. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing. I appreciate it. All right, we'll do another one. How about Becca? It's finally. Hi, Becca, you're on. Were you able to unmute yourself? You got those heart glasses on. Very good.
Unmute. There we go. Yeah, my eyes are so light sensitive that they literally burn if I don't wear sunglasses. So I found myself some cute ones.
Yeah.
So mine, I did the throat. Is it up on? Okay.
Yep, I see it.
And I've said before, I can't see, so my art is not the best, but
It's okay. There's no judgment here.
But to me, I speak through, sadly, other people's music a lot of times, but music is a big part of how I guess, how I'm feeling and stuff. And if I want things I can't get out, I use songs to represent that. So for me, for the throat chakra, it was music, and these are the sound waves hitting the person's ear. And I really tried hard to do a whale.
That's awesome. You did great. Thank you so much for showing up. And this is what this is about. It's just about being expressive, connecting it to your life, connecting it to your body, to where you're feeling, and then being able to share it with others. That's where this is about. So you're on track. Thank you, Becca.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There's no judgment here. It's all good energy. I'm gonna do one more. Christina. I'm gonna add a spotlight. Hey, Christina.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Good.
So I did the bird as my throat chakra. I definitely have a lot of challenges with communication since childhood, so a lot of practicing there. And I'm running a business, a creative business, so trying to have that platform to speak, I think, is something that I'm working on. So the bird really signifies that, but also freedom as well, the freedom of speech and the freedom to express oneself. So yeah, that's what came up for me. And blue is my favorite color, so I made sure that the bird was blue and teal, which also represents, of course, that chakra as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that with the creative business part, it's so important to get in touch with that, because you do have to speak what it is that you are creating about, or what your services are, your offers or your products, whatever that is. And it's so important to get in touch with that and get clear with it, because it also relates to that solar plexus too, because you have to stand in your power, right? And then it relates to the sacral as well, because you should have fun doing it. It should be something that comes from a place of pleasure and joy, so that it's resonating up and here.
Yes, exactly. Because a lot of it has been suppressed, unfortunately. So I'm trying to find my power and my voice. And
Yes.
that's a deep, deep work there. So
You can do it. Awesome.
yeah.
I'm so happy that you're here and you're sharing. What kind of stuff do you do? Just curious.
Oh, so I do graphic design and branding, and I'm looking to help our therapists.
Oh, cool. Well, we all need you here.
Hello.
Awesome. So you do like flyers and like branding, promoting and putting their work out there. So you're like the kind of connector to helping them put their stuff out there.
Yeah, so I guess a great example or a visualization, if you wish, I would say that I'm the bridge. I'm the communication bridge between the healing seekers and the art therapists, because I feel that art therapists are being devalued. They're not being heard. They're not being appreciated, and they feel misunderstood by healing seekers. So healing seekers believe, well, I'm not creative, so this isn't for me, but they're missing the big picture. So I'm here to kind of make those two worlds come together.
Wow. And that's so powerful because like as you do the work for yourself, that ripple effect that it's going to be for other people and that ripple effect for those other people. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, this is so important. Like this is so huge. So yes, so we got to do the work.
Yeah.
And you got this. You are the healing bridge. I love that Lisa says.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Again, my whole life is a symbol of communication, and it's rather funny because all the inner work that I've been doing, it's been all themed around communication and me being, the symbol of communication, where it was a weakness at a young age, but now I translate it into a strength, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's what this is about. It really is that we all have these stories or traumas or experiences where we got stuck, going with childhood, adolescence, or even early 20s, whatever happens. And then we could take that knowledge, we could take those experiences and actually like make it our superpower, make it our medicine for other people. I definitely believe in that. Most definitely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Leah. I appreciate it. And thank you for holding the space for all of us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, this work is really important for me to do. I've been doing this for like 20 years and not online. This like I was saying before, it's taken me like having to do my own work of strengthening my solar plexus chakra, being able to speak to people like in this kind of format. It took a lot of work to be able to like stand in my own power, but it does have ripple effects, right? It has a positive influence on others, and that's why I encourage everyone to do the work. Do the work so that you can stand in your power, just so that you can feel good, so that you can have that well-being, so you can have the tools to regulate your emotions and possibly help other people. That's another really amazing thing, is to have that ripple effect and it goes on to other people. So I have a question for you. Would it be okay if I share a little bit, if you would like to dive deeper with me of like how you can work with me? Is that okay if I share that? Do I get a yes? Okay, cool. I'll be brief, but I just want you to know, like, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like to do this healing work, because you don't have to do it alone. As I say, we work in community here. I believe in the power of community. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, I hit this thing. Takes me a moment. Okay, so Google Chrome, share. Hold on one second. Make this big and gotta move you guys over for a minute. Present. Okay, am I in present? Yay. Okay. So this is, I put together this little slideshow so that I could share with you if you'd like to dive deeper, if you want to continue this type of journey, you like these kind of conversations, you like meeting a community, you're welcome to join the Creative Soul Society membership. Like I had mentioned, we meet a few times a month. I have other art therapists that come in, I come in, we have other artists, even people from the community that are in it. We'll be presenting. Got Becca presenting next month, Jen the following month. lots of goodies. The other one is online art therapy services. So if you want to do that inner work and, do the healing like for yourself and want that one-on-one, I believe in the power of it. So I do offer that. And the other one is, which I didn't really talk about it in this particular, because we are focusing more on healing, but I do have a program. It's called, it's more of my manifesting program, and it's for creative businesses. So if you are at that point where you are one to, thrive and you want to create a framework to build your community and then offer your services, I do have that. And that's going to be coming up in May, but I just wanted to kind of like plant the seed if that's something that you're at that point where you're able to do that. Okay. So if you are looking for an art therapist, I kind of wanted to give you a little bit of insight because even if you've never done therapy before, like especially if you're going to be an art therapist, I would definitely think that you should experience art therapy first. But even if you've never, maybe you've done like regular traditional talk therapy, is great. But if you want to try art therapy, there's some things that you should look for in an art therapist, right? You want to, for art therapy, it's specifically working with someone that has their master's degree in art therapy. Okay. So the art therapist, they go to school for 2 years and they learn the different techniques and tools to get you to where you need to go. Right. And they are equipped to support you with your healing process. And there's many different styles. Okay. Like my style is very different than other people's. Like I love energy work. I love talking about the chakras or doing inner child work. I do a lot of inner child healing, somatic healing, but there's different types of art therapists. Okay. Some specialize in different things. So, you should talk to the person and find out what's their style and how do you work with them. Okay. Because it's about that relationship that you're going to have with the person. And it's like going on a date, honestly. I feel like you're dating because it's like you're going to be vulnerable with them. You got to trust them. You got to be able to, it's really important. So a part of this, if you do want to dive deeper, I would say schedule a call. It could be with me or it could be with someone else, but definitely schedule a call the person, get to know them, and see if it's a good fit. Okay. So that's kind of the things that you need to consider if you want to go this route to do that healing work with someone having one-on-one. And it's really about being consistent and showing you how to use your art as a tool and as your superpower. When I work with someone, I work with at least 3.5 months. So it's 14 consecutive sessions. It's not like here 1 week and then a month later. No, it's really about your life. And it's about your symbolism, your visual vocabulary, and building a series of work that's going to support you and learn how you use your art as a language. And you're going to get answers and wisdom from your art. Okay. So that's the process. Who's it for? I say it's for everybody, but no, it's really for people who, who want support with things like burnout, life transitions, like relationship issues, anxiety, depression, past traumas. Like if you're really looking for those, learning how to like regulate your emotions and your nervous system, this is going to be very, very helpful for you to have that one-on-one. And again, you're going to have those ripple effects because when you work on yourself, it definitely will affect those around you. I've seen it for myself, right? Like with my own family and even for my clients. Okay. So the number one block that I see that stops people from doing it is investing in yourself. And I put investing in your mental wealth. I did that on purpose because when you do the work or you invest in yourself, it teaches you that you are worth it. Yeah. I did it I felt so guilty. I remember the first time when I hired an art therapist, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm spending money on this. But then I realized, whoa, how important is my mental well-being? Whoa, how does this affect every area of my life? Wow. So I was able to make that shift and then able to shift in other areas. And that's when I was starting my business and putting it online and just realizing, oh, well, I need to hire a coach too, because I need to learn how to, market, and I need to learn how to do, and I was okay learning how to invest. So don't let the money stop you. That seems like to be the biggest one where people get stuck because you will get it in return. The energy of the universe, I love it. It showed me time and time again, when you trust it, it will provide. The universe does provide. Okay. So I did put together a little package today if you guys are interested, and it is it's for the art therapy services. So if you want the healing work, it is there for you. I am opening up some spots so that you'd be able to do it. The individual sessions, like I said, I do 14 individual sessions online. In this package, you'll get the Creative Soul Society membership, which I showed you. And you're kind of getting a feel of it too, because we have some members here as well that are really awesome. And this is something new that I'm putting in the package. This is, I'm making it right now. So it's not even out yet, but it's a 21-day healing art journey. And it's going to be about art journaling. And it's going to lead you just to get you into that creative flow. It's going to be like little 21 days of how you can use your art journal as a healing journey. So I'm putting it together, but it'll be out soon and you'll be able to have access. This is actually the prize for today. So you have to be patient with me. So whoever wins this, it'll come out like in a month or so. Okay. But you will win for participating today in posting your art and commenting on 3. You're going to be able to have access to this. So this is fun. This is going to get you into that creative flow. Okay. Part of this package, you get the Art of Healing and Manifesting book and deck. Okay, so here's like, how much is all this stuff? So I'm just going to put the price here so that you can see what the value is. Individual sessions is $2,800 for 14 sessions. The Creative Soul Society for a year is $396. Like I said, it's $33 a month if you'd rather go that way. The book and deck is $88. And then the 21-day art healing journaling experience is $2,200. Okay, so how much does that add up to? Like we did the math, we got our calculator out. It's actually $3,500. And I can already sense your resistance. Oh my gosh, I can't afford that. That type of thing. That's okay. I'm not going to have it at that price because I'm bundling it and I wanted to give it to you so that it would be really affordable and that you would invest in yourself. So when you think about this, why is this important? Is because how much would you pay for your mental well-being, right? How much would you pay to use art as your superpower? And it's something that you can use for the rest of your life because it does have that ripple effect, how much would you pay to know that you can step into something, into that desire that you have, and it can actually happen? Because I've seen it for myself and my clients. So for today, it's even on my site, it says it's $2,800. But I'm having a monthly plan, which is $233 a month. So if you would like to experience this in the community and having those individual sessions, you can do that through a payment plan or paying in full. And I do recommend scheduling a free consultation with me, so that if this is like, if you resonate with me, or if you're like leaning in, like listening to your body, then that would be like a yes. And I would say you can do that. So I'm going to have Becca, if you don't mind, you could put my scheduling link up there, and I'll also send it in an email where I'll put the replay out, and you are welcome to schedule a call. Yes, I do somatic work. I love working with the body. I think it's incredibly healing. Okay, I was just going to go through the comments. I just want to be able to. Okay, it says, great, thank you for talking about the different forms of art therapy. I have another place I need to be. She's got to go. Okay, no problem. Oh, Lisa, which slide did you want to see?
Oh, sorry, the first one.
You want to see the first slide?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to get the right slide or not. Oh, let me see. The first slide. The one about diving deeper?
Yes, I think, yeah.
Oh, okay, I will share that again. Share screen. So yeah, if you have questions, please go, you can ask them in the chat and I'll stay here and I'm gonna go ahead and answer them. Is this the one you wanted to see, Lisa? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, so in this bundle, it doesn't have the manifesting your creative business because it's that's different. But if you wanted to schedule a call to talk about that, we can discuss that if that's where you're at. A lot of times people come to these online healing or retreats because they are wanting the healing. So that's where you should focus. But then the business part is incredibly important as well. They go together. Okay. Yes, and I do offer a payment plan. Do you ever do a retreat? Okay, are you talking about in-person retreat or like an online retreat like I'm doing, Sherry? Because I do my online retreats every few months. So like every 4 months, I'll do free retreats online. I haven't done in person yet, obviously, because there was COVID for one, and then it holds a lot of space to do in person. I did actually a few years ago at Sacred Space in Miami. I did an art show and I did a walking labyrinth, and we had a sound healer. So that was a really beautiful experience. That was like the last time that I actually did like a in-person kind of gathering, and that was really powerful. But it was a lot of work. Let me tell you, like wore me out. But my soul wanted it. My soul was very happy that I did it. Okay, so if you are feeling like it's too much money, which I see someone put there, then that's only your own belief around money. I really do believe that when you do the healing work around money, it's really not. It's impactful and it's powerful, and it's your own relationship with money. Yeah, if and also that's why I have the Creative Soul Society. You're welcome to join the Creative Soul Society membership, which is $33 a month. So, you know, there's different levels of like what part you want to participate in, right? Okay. Just going through. Okay, in-person retreats. Yeah, as of right now, I'm not doing in-person retreats. I can definitely consider it for the future. Maybe another year, it would be more beneficial. Okay, yeah, and I don't do insurance, but it's all good. Well, I am so happy and grateful that you showed up today for yourself, that you showed up yesterday to do the work. This is a part of the process and it's lifelong, right? We're lifelong learners. We're always going to be experiencing parts and like times in our life where we do need healing. And it's important to have different tools, right? And learning to use our art for creatives is incredibly powerful. So yeah, if you would like to talk more, you're welcome, Rio. You are welcome to schedule a consultation call with me, and we can talk about the different options or that I have. Okay, so I'm sending you all so much love. I hope you had a really great time. I can't wait to see your artwork for today. So go ahead and put it in under that flyer that I just showed you about the 21-day, and I'd love to see your work there. Okay, and I'll let you guys know the winner tomorrow. Okay, take care. Bye.